Chat GPT is what this video is about. Not only will there be a video, but I'm going to make a playlist as I learn how I can personally incorporate Chat GPT into my life. It's going to do two things. One, it's going to help me maximize this tool. Two, it'll help people that are like me who want real life results from tools and are less interested with the, oh, my mind is blown. Oh, that's such a good idea. You know, some people that they get all excited and euphoric over ideas, and then that's where it ends. So I decided to do this because over the last couple days, not only have I been using Chat GPT a lot to try to figure out what I can do with it, but I've been watching a lot of videos. At first I was watching the videos, then I started doing it, and I wasn't watching any videos. I was just spending a lot of time interacting with it. And then at some time I started going back to videos, and quite frankly, some of these videos are just overhyped. Some of these videos are, in my opinion, have been made from YouTubers that are concerned with getting YouTube subscribers, YouTube viewer count, and YouTube statistics increased for their YouTuber profession or whatever. I'm a social media influencer or whatever, right? If that's what you're doing, you know, good luck to you. I don't really care. I'm not on YouTube to be a social media influencer. I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I'm a flipping stock market guy, right? So that's why I'm here, to have a forum that on YouTube to help spread stock market information stuff and it forces me to learn more. So I kind of don't really care about this whole social media influencer stuff. And some of these people, they're making Chat GPT videos that are basically like overhyped. They're overhyped. It's a good idea, but after I was like trying to implement some of the ideas they were talking about, some of them I didn't try to implement because I'm not, you know, doing XYZ product. I'm not out making romance novels trying to sell them on Amazon or something like that. But some of the stuff, just from having interacted with Chat GPT for a couple days now, and a lot of time during those couple days, you know, granted it was New Year's Eve, I spent the majority of my New Year's Eve with Chat GPT alone, no party. Spent the majority of New Year's Day not alone, but you know, did some Chat GPT on there too, and maybe I even started before that. I can't remember when, but I've got hours clocked on this thing. So I definitely don't know it all. That's one reason why making these videos helps me be more accountable to learning. Also, as I mentioned, some of the stuff is just overhyped. So what have I learned so far about Chat GPT? Well, the first thing I want to address, and the thing that I was really you know, going with, I got it open right here. It's chat.openai.com. You just go there, make an account, and you see algo trading. Trying to at first I had it write code for me, or I was attempting to. And here's an example of a ThinkScript code that it wrote, and you see it's in red because it's not working properly. Come on. Right? I might have changed this a little bit trying to figure out how to get it to work properly. And what I'm trying to do with this code is to get this right here. I want to get this number. And I have the information for it. You have it. It's right here online. You can check it out yourself. The Dixie times a 10-year yield divided by 1.61. Seems like a relatively easy thing to code. Well, if you're like me and your coding experience is, you know, highly limited, then at the moment, you know, I use the Chat GPT, whatever, and it came up with this, and it's not working properly. So if you think that you're gonna know zero about coding, and that you are just gonna start writing algorithmic trading things without the ability to check to see if it works properly, and if there's something a little wrong, if you don't know how to correct it to make sure it works properly, then it's not going to work in that way, right? So I have a little bit of work to do to figure out, like, what do I need to do to tweak it. But this is what's great, is it gave me the general formula, right? The big picture seems like it's okay. Some other things is because I'm really using it as a resource to figure out stock stuff. In the beginning, I kept asking it things, and it wouldn't tell me an answer. So wording it properly is going to be highly, advantageous. Like, if you're trying, basically, here's what I would say, is if you're trying to shortcut needing to do mental or physical work, this is probably not going to be as much of a great thing as you're thinking about. You're probably not going to get that achieved. But if you're willing to still put some work in, this is going to highly speed up your success. It's a phenomenal type of thing, but you have to use it properly. So one thing it's really good for is just writing in general. For example, I told it right here, write a 500 word story about Brent and Enrico sitting by the beach, and then it went and did it. Like, that's all I asked it to do, and it can do some little translation stuff here, but that, no problem at all. But if you're asking it, like, what's the best, what is the best, I don't know, algorithmic trading code for the E-mini S&P 500 futures, it's not going to do that for you. You have to figure out things. So some workarounds that I've been doing. You see this one, Rick Rule overview. Where's the one, Mark Minervini? One thing that I've been playing with is, it's like, tell me about Rick Rule. All right, so tell me about Rick Rule. How would you summarize his investment style? And then it starts coming up with it. And then I can say, what indicators would Rick Rule look at? Oh, typo. So now it's given me some potential things to look at. Now, if I don't know what earnings and growth are, or I don't know how to necessarily find them, what's good earnings and growth, then that could be something, what's good earnings and growth? So let's just look through this real quick. Debt to equity ratio, earnings, dividend yield, management team. Okay, let's do this one. Debt to equity ratio. A low debt to equity ratio indicates that a company has a healthy financial structure and is at less risk of defaulting on its debt. What ratio would be considered high and risky? Something I just noticed, I gotta clarify here. What debt to equity ratio? What debt to so far I don't see it give. Oh, there we go. Gave me a number. As a general, debt to equity ratio of 2 or greater may be considered potentially high and risky. So as you can see, there's ways to work around it. Now, it might not. You have to play with it, and you have to figure out part of what it is you want to do. Like, when I say figure out what it is you want to do, like, what is it you're trying to do? Like, I know what I'm trying to do. I want to make more money in the stock market easily. I want to be better and better and better in the stock market. So I'm attempting to use Chat GPT to help me in that regard. at some point, I want to have some algorithmic trading going on. And I know I can buy these, you can buy those codes. However, if you can kind of read the code a little bit, at least you have an idea of what you're buying is like good or not, right? So there's a learning curve here for me, and this is helping me out quite a bit. Something else that that I tried out is talking about I asked about this particular book, and then now I end up asking about this after I was running into all these problems that I realized it wasn't going to give me answers for. Especially when it seems like when it comes to making money and stuff like that, it doesn't want to be responsible for your financial decisions, right? So just like a lot of times on YouTube, people are like, this is not financial advice and blah, 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 and all that stuff. It's kind of doing the same thing. See, even right here, I am not asking for personalized financial advice. I am asking what has worked for other people in the past. And still, it's kind of a little bit general, but eventually, okay. Where is it? Oh, here's something that's kind of interesting. Write me a 500-word essay on why it is important to look at weekly candlestick charts along with daily candlestick charts. And it came up with this. So we're just touching on writing. We looked at that other story. If you think that this AI system is going to turn you into the next Stephen King. I don't know who the popular authors are. That's just someone that I know is popular at one time. That's not going to happen. You know why that's not going to happen? Because I got access to this. John has access to this. Timmy has access to this. Stephen, Susie, everybody has access to this. If you do not put personal touch into it, human touch, you are not going to have the type of success you want to have with it. I'll give you, here's the reality. And furthermore, if you try to pull it off, if you totally create some story or some, like supposedly you're writing it and you're having AI write it, and you are totally trying to pull it off, that you totally are writing it, and you get caught, you will be, your reputation will be ruined. Just like this. And if you don't believe this to be true, think about this. Anyone that is gonna like argue with this, I don't know, I probably want to have a conversation with you. But think about music. Now you can have a band that plays covers, and if they play covers of other people's music, and they say, hey, like whatever, this is ABC band song, we're gonna do it, right? People like it, they enjoy it, and all this stuff. And then if they say this is a song that we wrote, and they play that song, if that is a really good song that they wrote, people are more impressed and they're more connected with originality and creativity coming out of another human. That really does something for humans. So yeah, it's still impressive that you can do a cover of XYZ, that's still good. It's not that it's bad. But when you created the song and it's just like, wow, that's an amazing song, it's even higher. Now, what happens after they start saying, hey, this is the one that we made ourselves, and all of a sudden someone realizes that, oh, no, they didn't. I got this album at home. And they pull it up on their cell phone and they start playing it and they start telling their friends. Can you imagine what sort of anger the people are going to be in? So if someone's just thinking that you're going to have this, you're going to be so successful just because, and you don't have to do any work, then that gravy train will not last long for you. Might last a little while, I don't know. But the people that take this and then they add the human element into it, they put their own personality into it, that's what's going to be super good. But somewhere in here, okay, right here we go. So now, right, why was it telling me it can't give me personalized advice, right? Because I was basically, this book, The Fountainhead, is a novel, but it's a philosophical novel. The author has a philosophy, and she relays this philosophy through a story. So I'm trying to get the AI to help me improve myself, basically, right? And eventually I had to word it like this. If you wrote The Fountainhead Part 2 and Howard Rourke was philosophically mentoring a young trader in the financial markets, what philosophical advice would Howard Roark give this young trader so the trader could achieve the same success in the markets as Howard did in architecture? Boom! Right? Then I got something out of it. So this is where I'm at with it right now. Right? I'm kind of deviated from writing the code because even though it comes up with code, if it's somehow flawed, I'm not at a place right now where I can check it. Although I'm moving down that, I'm reading. I'm making my way through this. I'm making my way through this manual for ThinkScript. Right, ThinkScript is going to be easier than Python and all this stuff. But right, so I'm in that journey. Like I'm pretty much a beginner. And so what I'm a little more focused now on doing is picking out who investors that I consider to be well over my skill level, and asking it questions about how these investors would do something. But I have to ask it in a way where it doesn't feel that it's giving me financial advice, right? So then, for the whole Rick Rule one, do we go down to what is it? Okay, we got an answer for that. And yeah, so you can come up with, you could use this, you can definitely use it to write content, right? 100%. You want to play the game where you're pretending that you wrote it, you passing it off, go for it. Sooner or later, you like make that bed, and if you have to lay in it someday, I don't care, right? I'm not going to do it. Obviously, I'm doing it to the other extreme. I'm actively letting people know I'm using this. But you can definitely do that. I would just, if I were you, I would add human element to it. And the more descriptive you can be about it, write me write me a 10,000 word story about whatever. The more descriptive you can be, right? Maybe you make a table of contents, maybe you put it in, play with it, see what you want. If you're watching this, maybe you're into trading and not into writing stories anyways. But that is 100% there. As far as for trading, if you can't, if you don't know how to test the code, like at one point, what I'm going to do is I'll take this code and I'll like put it back into the AI system and say, what do you think's wrong with this or something. I don't know. You gotta play with it again. But this is all. I decided to start doing this, as I mentioned, because number one, there's just a lot of hypey videos. That's really it. There's a lot of these videos that they're just making us sound like you're gonna make $500 a day doing nothing with this thing. If you do, please show me, because I want to do it too. That's why I've been playing with it, try to figure out how I can make all this money without doing anything. Like, why wouldn't I want to make money without doing anything? I'd rather not do anything than work. I'd rather just hang out at the beach. So play with it, get it. It's awesome. Figure out how to use it. Take what you're hearing on these videos as a grain of salt, with a grain of salt. Figure out how you can implement it into your own life. And I guess the real key point that if I could pass anything that I seem to have learned, in my opinion, that I've learned with this, is that you got to put the work into it to figure out how to get the results out of it that you want. Right? That's really it. You got to figure out how to interact with it. And also, if you don't mind, read The Moon is a Harsh Mistress and talk to the AI about this other AI named Mike and see what kind of results you might get with that. It was interesting to me. And when I asked it about what happens to a human soul after a body dies and things like this, these deep philosophical things, it was very amusing to see how it was going to respond. And some of that stuff I was doing it just to see, like, what is it going to do? What's the parameters of a conversation that I have here? And one thing that I learned, I'll pass on to you, is that what it appears to be, and I'm saying appears, right? I don't know for sure, but it appears to be that this particular thing does not necessarily remember or attract individual characteristics of a person. For example, last night I had said something like, "Oh, over the last couple days, you and I have had a lot of conversations, haven't we?" And it responds, "Yeah, we've had a lot of conversation. But I'm here to help you. You know, we can learn together. Blah blah blah, all the stuff." And I said, "Oh, okay. So now, we've been having enough conversations, and I keep asking questions. You have an idea about what my life is like and what my interests are, right?" I can't remember exactly what it said from there. Uh, of the interest. And maybe I didn't ask that part. Maybe that's why I can't remember. But that's what I was trying to get at with it. And some of the stuff was like 2 in the morning for me, or I went to sleep at 2 in the morning. Maybe it was like 12 to 2, and by that time I'm just going through the motions. But anyways, so I asked it, what would you, how would you describe me to another person? And it basically told me I can't do that. It can't describe me to another person. And then when I was trying to like, but we had this conversations, and from what I gathered from paraphrasing that, but it can remember this stuff, but it doesn't seem to like track everything. Now that doesn't mean that some creative humans behind the scenes can't be like profiling you. Yeah, that could be two different things. That's why I say appears. And also, what else? It appears that this system can interact with all types of users at one time, and answer all these questions. But it's just like it. You can call it artificial intelligence, like that's what it's called. But it doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to have like the same depth of like I was trying to have a legitimate conversation with it, and it was about this book, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, because in that book there is AI. It's written in like the 1960s or something like this. There is AI, and it becomes self-aware. So I'm like talking to AI about like, hey, you read this book? Yeah, what do you think about that? This computer became. I think that Mike became self-aware. What do you think? And it just like wouldn't answer that. It didn't want to get into philosophical type of conversations with me, or things like that. And that's what I was asking, kind of like, do humans have souls, or whatever. But play with it, see what you get out of it. And the main thing is you got to put some effort into working with it and figuring out how you're going to maximize the value, because whatever your life situation is, it's not exactly like mine. Maybe we both like selling cash secured put options on stocks we want to own, but like, I don't know what else is similar. Who knows? I don't know. So you got to play with it. You got to see kind of where its boundaries are, and you got to put some effort into learning how to use this tool to maximize it. And overall, like when you're watching these Chat GPT videos, just realize some of them are just, they're just hyping it up. I wouldn't doubt that they'll run this gravy train of Chat GPT until the next thing comes out, and what they're really just focused on is being a social media influencer, YouTube. Obviously, I'm not really putting these social media influencer people on high regard. But hey, if you want to learn how to trade the stock market, you take your finances in your own hands. Oh man, I put that on a high regard. And you might be able to ask me philosophically, well, why wouldn't you put someone on a high regard if they're making money through YouTube on high regard? And then I would have to say, that's a good question. I have to ponder that and see if I'm being a hypocrite and I need to change some things. So with that, my friends, that's a demonstration that your good buddy Brent, I am okay realizing that I'm not perfect. I have imperfections, and this beautiful AI system right here, I am going to have it help me find my imperfections and help me clean them up. And that's why I asked things like, what would Howard Roark tell Brent that he needs to do? But I couldn't get a good answer out of that. Anyways, as I play with this stuff more, I'm going to I'll keep making videos and put it in this playlist, trying to help you, and which helps me. And if you watch this, or you watch whatever these videos, if you got any feedback for me, and I know you could have some good feedback, like, hey, your lighting needs to be better, or video quality, that's great and dandy. But I'm talking about feedback on the Chat GPT thing. That's what this whole thing's about. And hopefully you want to come over here and do my lighting and video editing for free. So with that, you guys, stock market's closed tomorrow, Monday, and it's January 1st, 2023. Stock market's closed tomorrow. Going to be open up again this Tuesday. I know some people that aren't going to be trading for like maybe the first week or so. I'm not exactly sure when they're going to be trading again. I had a bunch of options that expired last Friday. All expired worthless, so that was wonderful. Even if they didn't expire worthless, they were all they were all cash secured put options, so that's okay either way, right? That's the beauty of selling cash secured put options. It doesn't matter as long as you're okay with purchasing in stock, right? It doesn't matter what happens on expiration. But I had all those expire, and I'm gonna hold off on selling cash secured put options at least for the first week, maybe 2 weeks of the market being open, and for two reasons. I want to see if the market is going to, if we're going to get a drop. If we're going to get a drop, like I want to swoop in and buy, I want to buy paper assets at a discount, cash secured put options or not. I'm going to hold off a little bit, and then while I'm doing that, I'm going to, in that playlist of paper trading playlist, there's a video in there about selling, two videos, selling options with the VIX. I'm looking for an entry point of selling a call option on a particular equity with a leap. So expiration date around I think it's January 17th, 2025, and I'm gonna keep the strike price and the security to myself, just so that way keep everything clean, no recommendations or whatever. But that's what I'm looking to do, and one thing that I learned about doing that particular strategy of selling options with the VIX is that the more expensive stocks work a lot better. And so also that means that, your buying power is eaten up quite a bit more. So I'm keeping my buying power as wide as possible. So those cash secured put options expired. My buying power is significantly freed up. And the first live real money a trade I do this on the selling the options based on the VIX, I'm gonna have besides some other positions that they don't expire for a while and these other things, but I'm not gonna open up anything more besides just that one. Keep my buying power at a maximum, and it'll let me really just focus on managing that trade. And yeah, there's more to it, but this video is about Chat GPT. Just get it and start working with it. You guys are gonna love it. I hope you're gonna love it. Bye bye.